UFC Rio de Janeiro Oliveira versus Gamrot takes place this weekend, and we're gonna be going through the card, giving my predictions, and yeah, my breakdown. So we'll see what happens, man. Um, let's hop right into it because I do got a shower. First fight on the card: Luan Lacerda versus Simon Oliveira. Um, I got Simon Oliveira here. I got Simon Oliveira here because the thing with these two is it's like Simon Oliveira is on a knockout losing streak, and Luan Lacerda is also on a losing streak. But I don't know. I don't think that I think that Simon Oliveira is better on the ground, and I don't think that Luan Lacerda is good enough on the feet to knock out Simon Oliveira. Because the guys that knocked out Simon Oliveira are Daniel Marcos and David Martinez, and they're both really good guys that are currently pretty good in this division. So, and they're both strikers. Luan Lacerda is not a striker; he's a grappler. And but I think Simon Oliveira is a better grappler. So, since I don't see a knockout on the feet here, I see this being a grappling match, and I do think that Simon Oliveira is better on the ground. He's got more. He's got more submission wins, and Simon Oliveira has never been submitted. Ooh, Simon Oliveira has never been submitted, whereas Lucerda has been submitted in the past. So, yeah, I just gotta go with Simon Oliveira here by submission as well. Moving on to Julia Pilastri versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Oh my god. Who do I have here? I think I got Julia Pastry here. And honestly, I had to get my prediction video out today regardless. But I didn't have enough time at work to really do enough tape watching for this fight. I also didn't care because it's WMMA. But I'm gonna go with Julia Pilastri here, just because of the fact that both of these girls have a few finishes, and Julia has never been finished, whereas Karolina Kowalkiewicz has. So, and you guys know how I feel about finishing potential. Finishing potential means so much during a fight. Julia has the finishing potential here. I feel like she can land the better strikes on the feet, and she's probably slightly better on the ground as well. I just feel like if anyone's going to get a finish, it's her. And in saying that, if there's no finish, I see Julia having more moments that could lead to a finish that wins her rounds. So I'm gonna go with Julia Pilastri. I guess by decision. Walter Walker versus Muhammad Usman is actually off the card now. But I would have gone with Walter Walker by heel hook submission in round 1. But that fight is off the card. All right, now moving on to Lucas Rocha versus Stuart Nicole. I'm gonna go with Stuart Nicole here. Nicole. I think that's how you say it. And honestly, it's mainly due to the grappling that I'm picking him. Because yes, this guy was submitted by Jesus Aguilar, but Jesus Aguilar is really good. He's really good, and he was undefeated before that. But if you actually watch the fight with him and Jesus Aguilar, Stewart was actually out grappling him pretty easily. He had the back, he had control, he was landing some shots. And if you watch any of his pre-UFC fights, you just know that this guy is pretty decent on the ground. This guy Stewart can grapple, man. And Lucas Rocha's okay, but he's very manipulatable. So I could just kind of see him getting thrown. He is knockoutable. He can be submitted. And Stewart, this is his second fight in the UFC, and the first one didn't go his way, but I do expect this one to go his way because he's actually pretty good. He's got some talent, man. And I do believe in guys with natural talent, which is what Stuart Nicole has. So I'm gonna go with him by submission as well, or ground and pound TKO. However he wins, it's gonna be like a ground finish, whether it's ground and pound strikes or a submission. I got Stuart Nicole winning. Lucas Rocha did get submitted. Who did he get submitted by? Clayton Carpenter. I had a feeling he was on his card. He got submitted by Clayton Carpenter. And I know that Clayton Carpenter is probably better than Stuart Nicole, but I believe in Stuart Nicole, man. I've seen his fights, and I just believe in I believe in his skill set, especially against Lucas Rocha. So I'm gonna go with Stuart Nicole. Moving on to Bia Mesquita versus Irene Alekseeva. All right. Oh my God. Yes. Just making sure. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Beatrice Mesquita, even though I heavily was leaning on Irene Alekseeva. I was gonna go with her, just because she is bigger and stronger, and she has a lot of potential to upset women. But I don't know, man. Beatrice is 5-0. She's undefeated. She is a jiu-jitsu girl. But she can't. And here's the thing that almost made me go with Irina. She can't strike at all. Bia Mesquita cannot strike at all. And Alekseeva is big, strong, powerful. She's a finisher too. And I was going to go with Alekseeva, but then I saw one thing that changed my mind. And it was the fact that Bia Mesquita trains at American Top Team. And if you don't know that gym, that is the gym that Dustin Poirier trains at, Jorge Masvidal, Amanda Nunes used to, but not anymore. Who else trains there? Kayla Harrison, the current champion of this division, trains there. And she's the best in the division, and she trains with Bia Mesquita, so that's a really good gym. That is a gym of champions. Alejandro Pantoja trains there. That is a gym of champions, and they have really good fighters and really good coaches, and they have good strikers and good grapplers. So I feel like that's a really great gym to be at, especially if you're new, coming up 5-0. Against someone like Irina Alekseeva. I don't know what gym she trains at, but I trust people coming out of American Top Team, honestly, and I'm gonna just trust in the newcomer, man. I'm gonna just put my trust in the newcomer, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna trust her to win. So we'll see. I'm gonna go with Bia Mesquita by submission though, because she is a submission girl. Moving on to Vitor Bertino versus Thomas Peterson. I don't want to talk about this fight much. Vitor Bertino is gonna win. Vitor is gonna take him down and submit him just as easily as he did. I believe he did it in Nashville, Tennessee too. I was actually for Vitor Bertino's heavyweight debut. I was watching live in the crowd in Nashville, Tennessee. So it was amazing to see him, what he did. I forgot who his last opponent was. It was the former NFL player, the guy that got flatlined by Mario Pinto and Justin Tafa. Man, can't think of his name. But you guys know who I'm talking about. Thomas Peterson's fine, but he's just not going to beat Vitor Bertino. Vitor Bertino is good at heavyweight. I do definitely see him succeeding a lot at heavyweight. I see him being one of the better heavyweights in the roster, if I'm being honest. Lighter man skill going up to heavyweight. True good grappling, powerful hands. Thomas Peterson's alright, but I see absolutely nothing in his game that tells me he can even be competitive with Vitor Bertino, let alone beat him. Thomas Peterson's, he can be taken down, and Vitor Bertino, that's his game. I think he's gonna go in there, take down Peterson, and just submit him, just like he did to Austin Lane. That's his name, Austin Lane, in his debut at heavyweight. So I see no competitiveness here. I see Vitor Bertino having of easy paycheck, man. So this might even be a 50K bonus. So yeah, Vitor Porcino by submission round 1. Moving on to Jafel Filho versus Clayton Carpenter. Clayton Carpenter's got this one. Clayton Carpenter's got this one easy money. Clayton Carpenter has only one loss in the UFC. Oh my god. And his loss was to Tagir Ulanbekov, man. Tagir Ulanbekov is a really good flyweight, man. He trains under Habib. He trains under Islam Makhachev. You know, that gym. That's a really good gym, dude. The gym that produced Habib Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev, Umar Nurmagomedov. It's a great gym. And Tagir Ulanbekov, although he's like the runt of that gym, and he's one of the worst fighters that they got, he is still under that gym, and he can still out-grapple most of these guys. And Clayton Carpenter did pretty well against him. Clayton Carpenter had his own takedowns, had his own control time, and he only lost by decision in a competitive fight. So, Jafel Filho, he was getting absolutely banged up on the feet against some guy from Spain, I think. Just dropped and rocked at every moment, and then he pulled off a submission. And it's like, Clayton Carpenter, when he wins, he dominates. He picks these guys up, slams them, gets the back, gets full control, top mount, lands shots, and gets a dominant submission. Whereas Jafel Filho has to go through a lot of adversity in most of his wins. So, and I don't think you can just take down Clayton Carpenter and submit him. Tagir Ulanbekov couldn't, so I'm not going to trust Jafel Filho to do that. I'm not going to trust Jafel Filho to do what Tagir Ulanbekov couldn't, and that is finish Clayton Carpenter, and I don't see him beating him by decision either, because I think Clayton Carpenter is a better grappler than Jafel Filho, and I think he might even be. I think that Jafel Filho might be a bit more technical on the feet, but Clayton Carpenter's got a lot more power. He's got a lot more presence in the cage. So even on the feet, I do see him stinging Jafel with shots and being the better grappler. So I don't really know where Jafel Filho can go here, but I got Clayton Carpenter by submission in round 2 for a competitive grappling first round where Clayton Carpenter has like the edge. And then in round 2, they'll come out swinging. Clayton Carpenter will drop him or hurt him and then turn it into a takedown and then put him on his butt and then just finish him with a submission in round 2. That's how I see this fight going. Jafel Filho's kind of weak too. He's small, he's weak, look how skinny he is. And look how ripped Clayton Carpenter is. He's so much stronger. And I see him having a really good performance here against Jafel Filho, man. 100% I do. I rate Clayton Carpenter. I think he's really good, and I think if he was in there against a lot of other people other than Tagir Ulanbekov that night, he would have won. So, and it's like, he's younger too as well, I believe so. Got that youth advantage as well. And yeah, Clayton Carpenter is just he's really good, and I think he's gonna put a lot of people on notice here against Jafel Filho. So yeah, Clayton Carpenter submission round 2. Moving on to the main card. Lucas Almeida versus Michael Aswell Jr. Who did I put here? Oh wait, hold on. Nah, let me actually go back, 'cause I forgot that there was some notes I put down for this. I didn't even read out. Clayton Carpenter 2-1 in the UFC. That's what it is. He's never been finished. Clayton Carpenter has never been finished. So that's huge as well. Very dangerous off his back. When he was on his back and Tagir was on top, he was throwing up submissions. He didn't get him, but he was threatening him, and that can help you get up off your back in some situations. And Jafel Filho is not strong enough, I don't think, to stop Clayton Carpenter from throwing up subs off his back. Here you go. Clayton Carpenter is a Golden Glove. He has Golden Glove boxing experience. It was a form of boxing, Golden Glove. I'm not too exactly sure what that is. I know there's some other people that have gone down that route. So that's actually a pretty big thing for him here. Um, so, and Jafel Filho, yeah, comeback against Perez. That's who was dropping him and hurting him, and he got that sub. 2-2 in the UFC. That's not that good. Um, but he's a nasty grappler. He is. But I just think Clayton Carpenter's gonna have that strength advantage, if all else fails for him. So Clayton Carpenter submission. That Golden Glove boxing experience might come in handy here, but we'll see. Moving on to Lucas Almeida versus Michael Aswell Jr. I'm taking Lucas Almeida here. I was going to go with Michael Aswell Jr. because honestly, guys, he came in short notice, and I was impressed by his short notice performance against, what's his name? He just lost. I forgot. But whoever Michael Aswell, I forgot the name. His face is in my head. I just can't. The name won't come to my tongue right now. But he just lost to Mason Jones, and he also had lost to I don't know. But let me see here. Balaji Oki, that is who he fought. He came in short notice to fight Balaji Oki, up a weight class at lightweight. And he looked pretty decent, honestly. He really did. Gave Balaji Oki a run for his money, man. Up a weight class, short notice. You don't typically have a competitive performance like that. So that is really impressive from Michael as well. But Lucas Almeida is a really tall featherweight. Comes forward. He's very powerful. But he throws a lot of kicks, so I'm not too sure how Michael Aswell deals with kicks, because Balaji Oki is a boxer. He doesn't throw many kicks, so didn't really get to see too much of that. Yeah, but one thing I will say about Lucas Almeida here, right? I was going to pick Michael Aswell because I saw that Lucas Almeida gets easily... If you enter the pocket, enter the void, as Demetrius Johnson would say, with Lucas Almeida, you can easily touch that chin. He's not good in the pocket. He's a range fighter, a range striker. If you get in that pocket, you can really land big ones. And Michael Aswell is really good in the pocket. He enters that void and he likes to bang it out and close quarters with you. So I was going to go, you know what? Michael Aswell's probably going to get him. He's probably going to knock him out. But then I watched Lucas Almeida have a really competitive fight with Danny Silva, who I think is a lot better than Balaji Oki skill-wise. And I'm thinking, man, I don't know, because Lucas Almeida, if he can keep Michael Aswell at bay with his rangy strikes, I see this being a pretty good performance from him. I guess it just all depends on if Michael Aswell can close the distance safe enough times to chin Lucas Almeida. But Lucas is tough. Although you can put hands on that chin, he doesn't fall easily. So even if Michael Aswell does get into the void and lands really good shots, I don't see it. The first few times, I don't see it KOing Lucas Almeida. And then he'll probably get the reads and stop it from happening later on in the fight, is what I'm guessing is probably gonna happen. But Michael Oswald's also got a chin on him, so I don't see a finish here. I actually see a unanimous decision for Lucas Almeida is what I'm gonna guess. Decision for Lucas Almeida. But honestly, I'm 50-50 here. Either guy can really take this, and I wouldn't be surprised. But just for the sake of a pick, I feel like Lucas Almeida's rangy striking is going to be enough to keep Michael Aswell away from landing the big shots he needs to land to knock him out. And Lucas Almeida can probably win rounds just by... being able to hit Michael Aswell at a distance that Michael can't hit him back. Is, kind of what I'm saying. So, and if they do grapple, Lucas Almeida is probably better on the ground with his jiu-jitsu. So, yeah. I'm taking Lucas Almeida here, man, by unanimous decision. Ricardo Ramos versus Con Olfley. Every time I see Ricardo Ramos, I picture the guillotine that he succumb to Charles Jourdain with, because obviously I'm a Charles Jourdain fanboy. Charles Jourdain is my favorite fighter in the UFC, so I always love to reminisce to his finishes. I'm gonna go with Ricardo Ramos here. Con Offley's aggressive, but he's 0-2 in the UFC. Got slapped in one of them against what was his name? That dude that just beat Sadiq Youssef, that guy. Man, I can't think of his name at the moment. Marion Santos. I wrote it down. He got knocked out so clean by Mario Santos. That was such a clean knockout. It was beautiful to watch. Conolfi's got decent hands, but Ricardo Ramos is a rangy striker. He loves to throw spinning stuff, spinning elbows, spinning back fists, spinning body kicks, spinning heel kicks. If you can spin with an attack, Ricardo Ramos will do it, man. He's experienced. Look at that record, 17-7. Just a little bit more experience than Con Offley, 12-4, but 17-7. If that shows me anything, that shows me experience. You know, he's not new to this game at all. He can strike and he can grapple too. He really can grapple. And Ricardo Ramos is training with the Fighting Nerds right now, I think. And I know everyone in that gym has now lost in the UFC, but let's just be honest here. Let's just be honest. It's still a good gym. They're still good guys. All the Fighting Nerds are good fighters. You know, good fighters lose. It's just how the sport works, you know. And you've seen how training with the Fighting Nerds has really helped Michael Olejniczuk. He's on a knockout streak now, brutal knockout streak. He's knocking everybody out. But here is one thing, right? This is what made my decision to pick Ricardo Ramos. I think to beat Ricardo Ramos, you have to, other than Charles Jourdain, because he's really good, so he's an outlier. To beat Ricardo Ramos, you really got to make it ugly. You got to get in there, throw ugly shots, dirty box, really get in there, and just make it ugly. And I don't think Con Offley can do that any better than Chepe Mariscal can. And that's how Chepe Mariscal found his success against Ricardo Ramos, was just being disgusting in there. Not fighting technically, getting in there, making it ugly, dirty, getting in close quarters and landing. I don't see Con Offley being able to do it anywhere near to the extent that Chepe Mariscal has. And I think that Con Offley can get put out a lot easier than Ricardo Ramos can. His chin probably won't hold up as well. So I can see Ricardo's getting it done by submission, by knockout, by decision. Whereas for Con Offley, I think he can only probably get it just by getting that, by touching that sweet spot on the chin. And I can't trust him to do that since he's never won in the UFC. And Ricardo Ramos has been in the UFC for some time. He's been around the block. He's fought in good guys. He's fought in, he's went through Murderer's Row. He don't have the best record, but his experience is there in the UFC. Whereas it's not for Con Offley. So I'm going Ricardo Ramos here by decision. I can see him getting it done by TKO, though. I really can. Moving on to Jonathan Diniz versus Mario Pinto. I like Mario Pinto here. I think Mario Pinto just a bit better. I want to fact check. Have they both fought any of the same people? So Pinto's coming off a win against Lane. Has Jonathan Diniz fought Austin Lane? Let me find out. He beat Hines. No, he beat Hines, lost to Tybura, and then beat Williams. And he did fight Austin Lane. He knocked Austin Lane out by knockout in round 2, just like Mario Pinto did. Interesting. Dude, Mario Pinto. It's not letting me go to his account. Oh, there we go. Coming off his debut win against Lane. I'm gonna go with Mario Pinto though. Just I think he fights a lot smarter. I know that Jonathan is okay, but I don't think he's good. And Mario Pinto, I think he has a lot of potential to actually be really good. And I think that if you really watch the knockout Mario Pinto had over Austin Lane, it was pretty impressive because he was kind of going crazy and he wasn't able to knock out Austin Lane because all he needed to do was calm down and then find the right shot. That's what he did. He stopped throwing crazy, started to get patient, find the right shot, and just slapped him. And Jonathan Deniz can not grapple at all. He can't grapple. Austin Lane dominated him in the first round. Of grappling. He had to make a crazy comeback against Austin Lane. Mario Pinto can grapple. So I'm going to go with Mario Pinto here by finish against Jonathan Deniz. I just think he's a better, more well-rounded fighter than Jonathan Deniz is. I do want to I want to fact check something real quick before I lock this prediction in. I want to just fact check something for Mario Pinto. Mario Pinto, he has one submission win. Okay, he only has one submission win, and it was back in 2022. And Jonathan Deniz, all right, has 0 submissions. Like I said, he can't grapple for shit. And I just see him being able to just beat Jonathan Deniz just by being better. I think he is better on the feet and on the ground. So I can see him mixing in the grappling and then just, lighten Jonathan Deniz up with the feet. What I see here is a ground and pound TKO victory for Mario Pinto. I got Mario Pinto, ground and pound TKO, round 1. Moving on. Vicente Luque is my favorite fighter in the welterweight division. I love Vicente Luque so much. I used to have a bearded dragon, and I named my bearded dragon Luque after Vicente Luque. I have a Vicente Luque shirt that I love to wear. Every time Vicente Luque fights, I get nervous because I want to see Vicente Luque do nothing in the sport but succeed and win, and it breaks my heart every time he doesn't win, and it breaks my heart especially when he gets hurt. When I see Vicente Luque get hurt, it hurts me. It hurts me. When I watched Vicente Luque fight Jeff Neal, the pain that caused me for the next year of my life was insane. I think that Vicente Luque has got every skill in the book that you need to become a champion. He's got the striking. He's got the power. He's got the grappling. He's got the finishing ability. But he just loses. And I gotta go with Joel Alvarez. I'm sorry, Luque, but I can't in good conscience pick Vicente Luque to win. Joel Alvarez is a star. He is so good. And I think that at lightweight, I think that Joel Alvarez legitimately had a crazy shot, a good chance to become champion of the lightweight division. He's got everything. But I think his height and his size for the division of 155 really added to his attributes. At 170, I don't see him being quite as successful in the division in terms of the rankings, but I think he can get past the Vicente Luque, as painful as that is to say, because Vicente Luque is my favorite welterweight. He has always been my favorite welterweight since Tyron Woodley, and he will always be my favorite welterweight. And usually when it comes to Vicente Luque, I like to be biased, and I like to find any way I could possibly pick him to win a fight. I picked him to beat Kevin Holland. I picked him to beat Ian Gary when that fight was matched up. I picked him to beat Jeff Neal. I picked him to beat RDA. He did. I picked him to beat Demo Grimbo. He did. But I picked him to beat everyone he has fought since, I don't know. I've always picked him. I think this is my first time ever actually picking against him. I believe so, yeah. But I gotta pick against him. I don't think he's gonna win. Joel Alvarez hits hard. And Vicente Luque, if you guys know about the brain hemorrhage or something, ever since he had that brain bleed and I don't think his body will physically allow him to take damage like he was able to before. Before the Jeff Neal fight, Vicente Luque, you could go into a fight thinking Vicente Luque, because he was never KO'd prior. So you could go, I picked him to beat Joaquin Buckley as well. But before the Jeff Neal fight, you didn't have to worry about Vicente Luque getting knocked out, because he had never been knocked out prior. And you could say, dude, Vicente Luque, he might lose, but dude, he's going to make it a scrap. He's going to make it a war. They're going to land and be a bloody war, because that's what he was good at. But then Jeff Neal fucked his career. Jeff Neal beat the shit out of him so bad, caused him to have brain bleeding. So now, when he takes a bit of damage, his brain is like, shut off. You know, his brain just doesn't allow it anymore, it seems. So, Joel Alvarez, and he's got great grappling, Joel. He's got amazing grappling. I really can see Joel Alvarez going out there, stinging up Vicente Luque with shots. And if Kevin Holland can submit you, Joel Alvarez probably can. So I see him going out there. I see them having a very competitive round one where maybe Joel Alvarez wins by stinging Luque a few times on the feet. And in round two, maybe Joel Alvarez is starting to sting Vicente Luque a bit too much that Vicente has to resort to grappling. And then Joel Alvarez will probably latch up a submission off of a takedown attempt of Vicente Luque or something like that. I see Joel winning by finish. Either knockout or submission. I think he can do both in this matchup. And I'm going to cry when it happens. I'm going to cry, shed tears, and contemplate life. But I do see Joel Alvarez winning, unfortunately. If Vicente Luque would have pulled this off, that would make me so happy, you know. But I got Joel Alvarez, man. I just think he's too good at this stage in his career versus Luque. And that sucks to hear, but I got Luque. No, I don't. I got Joel Alvarez by finish of any kind. Moving on to Davis and Figueiredo versus Montel Jackson, the co-main event. I don't know. If Davis and Figueiredo wasn't coming off of that knee injury he sustained against Corey Sandhagen, which did not happen that long ago, if he wasn't coming off of that, I would pick him very confidently. But because of that knee injury, I'm really thinking, I know Montel Jackson's okay. I'm going to go with Davis and Figueiredo, man. I just don't know if... I'm going to go with Davis and Figueiredo. I am. I'm going with Davis and Figueiredo. I know he's older, but he's still so good in my opinion. And maybe it's a dumb take to predict Davis and Figueiredo to win, but I am yet to be as sold on Montel Jackson as a lot of other people. This will be the fight for him that I truly believe in him if he were to win. I know Montel Jackson's good, but if I'm being honest here, all the versions of bantamweight Figueiredo that we've seen, I think beats Montel Jackson and Daniel Marcos based off the fight that they had against each other. I thought that fight was boring, and I did not think that they looked good. Davis and Figueiredo, I think he's older, but he's experienced enough to take what Montel Jackson isn't the best at and exploit it. Because Figueiredo's good everywhere. He's a good striker. He's got a lot of power. He's a good grappler. He can submit people. So whatever he sees in there against Montel Jackson that he doesn't think is great, is that good, I think Davis Figueroa is smart enough to know to exploit that and attack that, whether it's the grappling, whether it's his ability to take shots from Figueiredo, whether it's the jiu-jitsu. I think Davis Figueiredo is smart enough that he's gonna go out there, and they're gonna have a sparring session for the first round. They're gonna see what each other's about. Davis Figueiredo at some point in the fight is gonna figure out what he can exploit from Montel Jackson, and he's going to attack it. That's what I see happening here from Davis Figueiredo, because he's a smart fighter. He's older, but he's experienced, and I don't think. And Corey Sandhagen is good. Corey Sandhagen would beat the shit out of Montel Jackson right now. So, I think I'm gonna take Davis Figueiredo here. This is one of those matchups where Montel Jackson is just gonna have to prove me wrong, because I'm not gonna pick him. So yeah, I got Figueiredo. Montel Jackson's got massive hands. Same glove size as Brock Lesnar, I believe. So he's definitely got some power. And if he puts hands on you, Montel Jackson can absolutely sleep you. We've seen that against Damon Blackshear. Slept him with a 1-2 down the pipe as soon as the fight started. So I can see him stinging Davis Figueiredo here. But Davis Figueiredo's been stung in the past. All right, he knows what it's like to take a shot. So we'll see what happens. But I got Figueiredo winning by decision. I don't see a finish here on either side, honestly. So Davis Figueiredo by. I can see it being a split decision. But I don't know, though, because they're in Brazil. They might have a little bit bias towards Figgy. So I'm not going to go with unanimous decision for Davison Figueiredo, the God of War. Moving on to Charles Oliveira versus Mateusz Gamrot. I'm going to go with Charles Oliveira here, and I'm very confident. I was going to pick Oliveira to beat Alpha Fiziev. But I was less confident in that because obviously you know the striking of Alpha Fiziev, he can put you out. Well, he's got pillow hands, but he's a good striker, and I don't want Charles Oliveira going up against a striker right now. Right now, at this point for Charles Oliveira, coming off the knockout to Ilya, with the short amount of time it's been since the knockout, I want to see Oliveira go up against a grappler. And what better grappler than a grappler with no power in his hands? This is a beautiful stylistic matchup for Charles Oliveira. It is beautiful. Because Mateusz Gamrot is a better wrestler than Charles Oliveira. He can wrestle Oliveira. But the jiu-jitsu heavily favors Charles Oliveira, and so does the striking. Heavily favors Oliveira. Oliveira is a better striker. He's got more power in his hands. And honestly, in my opinion, Charles Oliveira can take a better shot. Both of these guys get hurt very easily in their fights. The difference is that Charles Oliveira wins a lot of the fights he gets cracked in. Mateusz Gamrot, he lost to Dan Hooker. He was getting cracked up by Dan Hooker, who he beat Armin, but Armin probably could have won that fight, honestly. Mateusz Gamrot did have a much better performance against Armin Jasrukian, but I think you give Armin and Oliveira 5 rounds, that might be a totally different fight. So, but every single Mateusz Gamrot fight, he gets cracked. Every single one. He gets cracked and he kind of falls to like a squatting position, and then he dives to your legs with every inch of power in his legs. You rock Mateusz Gamrot, and then he kind of falls down to like a squatting position, and then he uses all the power in his legs to just catapult himself into a double leg. Every fight did that. Every single fight. Can't name one he didn't do that in. And I think if you do that against Charles Oliveira, he submits you 10 times out of 10 unless your name is Arman Jasrukian. Put Mateusz Gamrot in the same guillotine that Oliveira had Armin in, and I don't think Gamrot survives. Because let's be honest here, Dan Hooker does not have the jiu-jitsu of Charles Oliveira. Nick Klein. Is that his name? Nick Klein? It's definitely Klein, but is Nick his first name? Ludovic Klein. Who's Nick Klein? Who is Nick Klein? I'm going to figure this out real quick because it's going to bother me. Nick Klein. There's definitely someone named Nick Klein in the world. I'm just gonna find out real quick because it's kind of pissing me off. Nick Klein is another fighter. Yes, Nick Klein. He just got KO'd. I like Nick Klein. All right. Ludovic Klein doesn't have the jiu-jitsu of Charles Oliveira. Even Armin doesn't have the jiu-jitsu. Rafael dos Anjos, good jiu-jitsu, but at this stage in the career, Oliveira is better because he also has the most subs in UFC history. I see him adding to it. I think he's gonna submit Mateus Gamrot. I think the first round's gonna start. They're gonna be throwing hands. Mateus Gamrot's gonna shoot a takedown, and he's gonna get some control time on Oliveira. He's gonna take down Oliveira, 100%. Then he's gonna control him a little bit. Oliveira's gonna find his way back up to the feet. They're gonna box it out a little bit. Oliveira's gonna sting him with a left hook. Mateus Gamrot is going to fall to a squatting position or fall to a knee, and then his natural wrestling instincts are going to kick in. He's going to catapult himself into the hips of Charles Oliveira. Oliveira's going to wrap up a guillotine and submit Mateus Gamrot in round 2. Round 2 submission I got for Charles Oliveira. Just to be honest here, because I don't see Mateus Gamrot hurting Oliveira on the feet, at least not too much. He may land a clean shot that spins the jaw Charles Oliveira, but I don't see him dropping or knocking out Charles Oliveira at all. And let's be honest here, even if you compare the fights against Beneil Dariush out-scrambled, out-grappled Mateus Gamrot, and he dropped Mateus Gamrot as well on the feet really badly. Which again, dude, again. Beneil Dariush cracked Mateus Gamrot on the feet hard, that he fell to the ground, and then once he composed himself, dived for the legs of Beneil Dariush. Beneil Dariush is a good grappler, but he's not going to latch up the neck in a split second like Charles Oliveira will. Charles Oliveira is way too fast in the grappling. You dive on his legs, you're getting subbed. It's just how it works, unless you're Arman Ashourian or Islam Makhachev. They're outliers. But yeah. And then Charles Oliveira, when he fought Dariush, he got out-grappled, sure, but he was able to get up and then just smoke Beneil Dariush on the feet immediately at the end of the first round. I really struggle to find a way that Mateus Gamrot can win here, because it's simple as this: he's not going to win on the feet. Oliveira is way he's better on the feet than Gamrot, to a point where I don't see him having much success there. He can wrestle Oliveira, but I don't think he can finish him there. And I think that Charles Oliveira's his own grappling is going to be enough to deflect finishing potential from Mateus on the ground and get back up, I think. So I think Charles Oliveira can win anywhere. I think Charles Oliveira can win by knockout on the feet, submission on the ground, and he can win by decision. Charles Oliveira's got cardio. Cardio is not something that Charles Oliveira lacks in his game, So, yeah. And I don't think that Mateus Gamrot would dominate Michael Chandler over 5 rounds like Charles Oliveira did. I do think Mateus Gamrot probably beats Michael Chandler, but he gets dropped 1,000,000%. And Charles Oliveira did not get dropped by Michael Chandler in round 5. He got eye poked, and Charles Oliveira was protesting to the ref, and then Chandler started cracking him, and then they ended up in a grappling scenario. But yeah, without the eye poke, Chandler doesn't win round 5, but he did win round 5. But I got Charles Oliveira by submission round 2. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. Appreciate you guys for watching. I'm about to end this. It is almost 9 o'clock. I have work tomorrow, so I gotta do some showers. I gotta, I gotta play the game. I bought the Ghost of Yotai. Beautiful. So I'm gonna hop off here, shower, and then play the game, and be ready for work tomorrow, and to be ready to watch the event on Saturday. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. Do Bronx.